right, guys, you can unmute now. All right, hey, so this week, in case you guys weren't part of it, we were out in Reno at the National Automobile Museum. There, right next to the river, right on, it was like 10 something street. Hey, Lucky McGovern's watching. Hey, Lucky, what's going on? Anyway, so we were out there, for you guys that don't know, the guy on the bottom here, DJ IQ, he was out there at the event. I am going to show you guys a short clip of him doing his thing. Let's see here. One participant share the time, share screen, and we are going to share this. Share. Oh.
Is this as low as this goes?
Is it not sharing his video?
I see it. I see it.
Yeah, I see the video. What's up, everybody?
Oh, so it freezes when I try and share a video.
But I look good, right?
Always, bro. That's why you were over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to have to figure out the share screen part of it. It looks like we're not frozen anymore. So, yeah. So when I share screen, it freezes us. You are all frozen coming from Lucky. So Lucky would know. Lucky used to do this thing. I was going to show a short video also of Dave Bradshaw doing his cyclone run, just for people that didn't know. Anyway, so we got on the bottom of the screen right there, we got DJ IQ. This is your first event, correct, sir?
Yeah, it's my very first event with you guys.
Okay. So obviously you're into music, being a DJ and all. So what did you think of what you saw out there? What were your first impressions?
Okay, well, I'd like to start with saying that, like, one of my very first events back when I was, like, in my early 20s, which is dating myself about 20 years ago, 22 years ago, was a car show. And this was a pretty impressive setup. I mean, you got cars, like, it wasn't just one type of vehicle. It was multiple types of vehicles in this car show. Like, normally you have, like, there's some old school, like Impalas or whatever. And then you have, like, little rice burners or whatever. And then you have, like, you know what I mean? Like the muscle cars, like, and it would be one or the other. This had everything. Everybody.
Yeah. Josh right over there, Josh Tatu, from Rack and Roll Billiards, local guy to Reno.
Team DC.
Dave Bradshaw says, "What's up?" Anyway, so Josh there, he said, he really put a lot of heart and soul into this. He contacted the local car clubs, things that he's part of throughout the city, and really brought in a lot of people. Other than our normal group of guys at these car shows, at these stereo competitions, when we're in Sacramento, we have a really good following. We get classic cars, we get lowriders, we get all kinds of cars, very similar to what we had in Reno this weekend. But I would have to say 100% the diversity of the crowd was absolutely good, thanks to Josh there. Josh went above and beyond. So
that's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Diversity, that's what I meant.
Yes. So we had a huge amount of diversity amongst our crowd, the type of vehicles we were having, the other thing like that. It was great. I counted at least 80 cars there. Not all at the same time, because people were still coming and coming. For the people that aren't here and didn't know, police showed up. We start our event about 10 a.m. The police showed up about 10:45, 11 o'clock-ish. Told me by that point they already had over 100 complaints. I've been doing this now over 20 years.
Yeah.
I personally have been a judge now for over 20 years. And so I talk to the cops. It's not the first time I've had to talk to a cop. And so I have my discussion with the cop. And usually I can talk them out of whatever they're doing. And, hey, let us just complete the event. It's good for everybody, you know, where some of the money goes to this, you know, this. So I discuss all this stuff with the cops, and the cops that showed up, they were actually really cool. They didn't have a problem. The problem was they had over 100 complaints. So I pled my case to the cop. He turned around. He says, well, I got to check in on this. He ended up calling somebody who had to call somebody to figure out what we were violating. Because nobody can come up with a reasonable excuse because, like I said, I already knew what to say to the police officers. So they couldn't come up with a reasonable excuse. They called code enforcement within their own division. It took them almost 50 minutes to find out what I was violating within the codes. So come to find out, I was violating, I need a amplified noise permit. So that's all they can get us with. So today I actually spent a chunk of my day, we'll say, talking to the city of Reno. I got emails now, so I got direct contact with whoever I need to. And we're looking into it and seeing what it is. But it is a 60-day, 60 days in advance you need the permit. So with that being said, we won't be having an event at the museum at least for the next 60 days. That doesn't mean we aren't going to be back. Dave Williams is watching. I see you guys. Great job.
What's up, Dave?
This is coming from Dave. Thanks for your help. One thing I really, really, really want to point out is I know Josh came on and personally apologized for, you know, hell, I'm so sorry that this happened. I don't know why, blah, 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 all this stuff about how, you know, he was sorry and he felt it was his own fault that the police came and it got shut down. It had nothing to do with Josh. So everybody knows, I called the city of Reno. I explained my event. City of Reno tells me there are no permits for you to have. You're good to go. This is a promotional event. All this stuff is good to go. Lucky says he can hear us, but we seem to be frozen. And I'm thinking it might be Lucky, or if there are,
or maybe he's not so lucky.
Maybe. Who is it? Oh, it's Tiffany from Barbados. Just checked in. She's watching us.
Hey,
right
Tiffany.
Now. What's up, Tiffany?
I can see us on the screen right now from my phone, and we are frozen.
Okay.
So if they can hear us, we look good.
Oh,
and they can hear us. We're fine. We're fine.
Yep. Yeah, because I'm seeing the video on my phone.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, like I was saying, none of this should fall on Josh. I know he feels like he's personally invested in this. And once again, another person says we are frozen, but they can hear us fine.
Good.
So we'll continue on with this as if they can see us, because it's about the audio content anyway, right? Anyway, so we went through all that. DJ IQ was there. He was mixing on the side. And he was doing well. I was happy with it. Obviously, I can't pay much attention to him because I got so much going on. The cops showing up, me running my event. And just so everybody knows, this background today was designed and put together by Celise Harris with DB Drag. Should have told the cop he needed an amplifier and subs. I actually invited the cop to come in and sit in one of the vehicles.
Yeah, you did. I was standing there.
So they didn't do it. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there that,
Hey, the cops actually invited us back.
Yeah. Oh no, they invited us back. Just so everybody knows, the venue invited us back. The police said, "Hey, you guys are more than welcome to come. Just get this permit, and we won't even come by here."
Nice.
So, other than that, any other impressions? I mean, other than the diversity of the vehicles that were there, any other impressions?
No, just love to say I had a lot of fun. I mean, go ahead. You can go ahead and take this one, Josh.
Well, I was just gonna say, DJ IQ. I've been to a couple shows. I'm new in this. About a year since I've known Doug, and did my first show down in Reno here, and having you over there, doing what you were doing, definitely gave, I think, our community a sense of being. Like, Dave was having fun. It was an attraction, right? And that was the whole point. Like, because sometimes you get into an audio competition. I notice two things about audio competitions. First off, we never have seating. And the diehards are usually sitting in vehicles getting demos anyways, right? Mm-hmm. And then on the other side of things, it's like with the whole COVID thing the last year, you can barely have food at an event. So we had the rack and roll truck, and we had barbecue of hamburgers and hot dogs we were giving out.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I noticed that. And then I thought having DJ IQ, Stefan, being there to have an attraction while we were doing our competing was something that would attract not just us baseheads, but the families that the baseheads bring with them. Mm-hmm. And it worked out well. I noticed that there was many people who were surrounding you and watching you perform, and you were keeping it live, man. And that's what it was about, keeping it live and having that good positive energy, focused and making sure people was having a good time. So
thank you, man. Like, that means a lot. That's what I do it for, I mean, obviously I'm running the business, so, I like to get paid, but that's not why I do it. Like, I would literally do this for free. You know what I mean? I really feel that I'm blessed in winning, being able to do this for a living. And, especially a crowd like this, we're talking about, bass heads. Like, that's what kind of introduced me into DJing in the first place, was watching my buddy, my next door neighbor when I was 13. His big brother had a car stereo system, and he was listening to Feel the Bass 3 by DJ Magic Mike. And that's what, like, then I listened to that. Then I listened to the entire tape. I listened to the tape, and I'm like, I like that sound. I was listening to him scratch, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And, thank God for that, because, even with my DJ background with my family, I probably wouldn't have really been inspired and unless I actually listened to that. So, it was a blessing, it's kind of like full circle. You know what I mean?
Dave full Bradshaw circle. Just chimed in with, the DJ was dope.
That's what's up. Dave goes to a lot of shows, man. Dave's at almost every show I've ever been to. I don't think I've been to a show where there's one or two shows I've been to where Dave hasn't been there, So Hearing that from Dave, that's a big deal.
No, Dave attends. So Dave is, for you guys that don't know, Dave is Team Send It Dave. He has put together his own team, Team Send It. They have, I don't know, I'm guessing 12 members. It's a pretty full team. And he comes out there. He has his team help out either in the lanes, help out with other competitors. And Josh, when you came to your first show with me, I try and put you guys with somebody that can help teach you what we're doing here. And I just want people to know and understand, because I shove you off on somebody else, like if I were to give you to Josh or I give you to Dave or something like that, it's not because of I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to have time with you. These guys are the heart and soul of our community. And so I want to get you plugged in with the guys that are the heart and soul of the community. Right? Yeah. And that's why I push you guys off onto the veteran competitors or the new guy or whatever, It's I want you guys to be involved. I want the new person to be emotionally invested with, even if it's not, because it's not me, right? It's about you guys and your vehicles and the love you guys have for what you put together. And I want somebody to be emotionally invested in that part of the thing. So just so you guys understand, when I push you off on somebody, it's not that I'm not trying to help you out. It's I want you to connect with somebody on a personal level. And because I think that is super important in our community, obviously.
So on a side note from what Dave's saying, it's when I first went to my first show, he introduced me to Tyler Bailey, world champion of some bracket. I can't remember, but
he's a top dog champion, world champion for top dog.
Okay, so top dog champion, and that's funny because it adds up because I was doing top dog, I was doing my qualifying, and I remember Tyler sitting in there coaching me, and I was adjusting the bass knob, and he was adjusting the volume on the deck. And one way or another, we ended up at 129.99. And Doug yells as soon as it's my first time in the lane, and Doug says, "That's what you want to be a world champion right there." And I was like, "Holy shoot, man. Okay."
Wow.
But I kind of kicked Tyler out of my truck after that. I was like, "Come on, dude." Yep. And I pulled up and I flunked and I flunked and I flunked. And it took me several shows before I even brought a trophy home. But we started bringing trophies home. And, you do always turn us on to people who know what they're doing. And I know it's because you're busy and you're trying to make sure that the competition moves forward in a way that we can all compete, because we're there to compete.
Yep.
When at the end of the day, we're there to compete. The attraction part of what we do is important. Making people, giving them a comfortable space to be and see what we do is important. The conversations we have, looking at each other's builds and getting different ideas and perspectives of what to do and what not to do is super important. But at the end of the day, for me, I'm going to be sitting in my truck competing.
Yep.
And to have Tyler right there was cool. And you hooked me up with a good guy. So,
yeah. And to be honest with you, I'm always going to try and hook somebody up with a world champion, right? I want to hook them up with Brian Nyman. I want to hook them up with Christian Jensen. I want to hook them up with Daniel Valdez or Leo Valdez. I want to hook them up with Tyler Bailey, because ultimately the pinnacle of competing is a world championship ring.
Yeah.
And that's what we're shooting for, right? But like I said, above everything else, I think you guys, the idea is just to let you guys have a great time, be part of all the other stuff going on. It's amazing how much fun that stuff is. And Josh, you can even attest to it, right? Oops, I need to resize that real quick. You can attest to it. The idea that we can have a great time and just hang out together, right? That's what it's all about.
Yep.
I mean, you guys provide food. We used to do that back in the day. We used to provide all kinds of food. Gary Killian used to cook at all the events. And that was freaking awesome. I mean, he would come up with a barbecue, and you guys don't even know. Gary is a trained chef, and he would be there and he'd barbecue, and you guys don't even have a clue.
Doug, so it's our turn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was telling Stefan and a few of my close friends, and we were talking the other day, Doug's always there on most of the shows I go to, and you're going to be judging for a long time yet still, but it is our generation is stepping up, man. And we want to have barbecue out there. We want our kids to run around and be in a safe place. we want to engage. As far as our generation, like we love our audio competition, but as far as engaging with the guys who are doing burnout contests, the drift cars, the low riders, as far as the car community in the industry itself, like we're included in that. They're all included in it. And that's one of the things that, being young and wanting to be a part of these things and help create an event for people like DJ IQ was a big deal.
Oh no, that was a huge ad. I
was a big deal because it just added to what we were doing. And absolutely. I don't know about you, but the energy that we had at this show was super, super on point, man.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was enjoying something and everybody was engaging in conversations where we were listening to each other, and there wasn't a bunch of confusion and a bunch of negativity out. The cops came, they handled what they handled. We laughed with them. We knew he was pissing people off, and Reno just wasn't ready for us to be that loud. But hey, guess what? We're coming back.
Yep.
Back. You guys, we're in an area of town where they have fireworks going off once a week when we're not in the middle of the pandemic. We're in an area of town where you have motorcycles mobbing up and down the street for 2 weeks out of the year. We're in an area of town where they're having concerts all the time. So Reno is a really good location for what we're doing. It's just a matter of us being permitted correctly. And DJ IQ, you brought a whole nother attraction to the whole event. Absolutely. So as far as all that's concerned, like Doug, I mean, where are we headed with events? Are we where's that going to? I mean, we've got the drifters out here.
Yep.
We've got the guys who have lowriders and the truck clubs, the peel out contest guys who are wanting to actually collaborate with us in different locations. So the Automobile Museum was dope. It was a cool place, but we have Rail City. We got the GSR. We got the track out in Fernley. Like we're fixing to do some shows together.
Baldini's another one.
Baldini's, yeah.
And Tyler Bailey with Low Hertz Car Audio, he's getting ready to open up a actual storefront retail spot in a commercial part of town. The other thing is I used to have a really good contact with Summit Racing right there in Sparks, and we used to do stuff back in the day there. But to be honest with you, what we had this weekend, we would have outgrown that parking lot at Summit Racing. I mean, that's just how it is, right?
Yeah.
So that part's awesome. Stefan, did you ever even have an opportunity to sit down in a vehicle and get any demos at all, or no?
No, unfortunately, I did not. I really wanted to. I really, really wanted to. Towards the end, I was able to walk around a little bit, and I saw some stuff that I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, I've done a handful of car shows. It was like a piece of every type of car show all in one. And I was like, wow, okay, I got a little 63, 64 Impalas over here. We got some little race cars. You got some muscle cars over here. You got some old school classics over here. You got some buckets that have like more money in their sound than they would ever do on their paint job. It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, they probably spent like at least $30,000 on their sound system and nothing on the exterior.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But I thought
that was cool, man.
And
I thought that was really cool.
There.
Yeah.
Did you even see the rock crawlers over on this side?
Yeah.
So, that's totally cool. I just want a quick shout out. We got Matthew Busby checking us out, Sterling Walker, Chris Jenner's watching us. That's Team DC Jenner for you guys that don't know. Boy, man, that guy was on a tear for about 3 or 4 events. And so, you know how you mentioned Magic Mike? Well, Lucky used to do a live stream. You haven't met Lucky, so Lucky just kind of retired from stereo competition. He's got young kids, high school age kids, and time's running out for that. So he's gonna spend some time with his family coming up, right?
That's what's up.
Yeah, and hey, no fault to the dude. I actually stepped away for 3 years to be with my kids when they were in high school. I only did I average like 28 shows a year. during those 3 years, I think I was averaging like 7 or 9 or something. It was like something ridiculous, low number, right? But so Lucky and I were, I was helping Lucky with the show, and we got him in contact with DJ Magic Mike. So
Get out of here, man.
So
Stop.
I may, in one of these weeks, I may just bring DJ Magic Mike on here and have a little conversation with them.
You just may have to do that. You just may have to do that.
I mean, so I know I'm older than I believe I'm older than both you two. So I was born in '73. So, but DJ Magic Mike, dude, I used to be able to cruise down so downtown Reno used to cruise Virginia Street before they blocked it off and put those pillars in it and all this stuff. We'd go to JJ Pie Company, which was a grocery store right where the Silver Legacy is now. And then we would go to Dairy Queen at the end of the strip. So that's what we used to cruise, right? But, dude, DJ Magic Mike was such a huge part of me at that time. Just walking down the street, I hear a car, boom, boom, boom. I know that song.
Yep.
Back in Bass or whatever, that's Gucci Crew too. But Magic Mike, whenever I put a system in my car, number one, Magic Mike.
Yep.
Feel the bass. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Oh, my gosh. Feel the bass, man.
So, Stefan, you had mentioned to me some time ago, that was a guy that you kind of followed through your years of DJing, and he's kind of like a teacher in a way just by his example.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear about that a little bit, man. You're growing up into your DJ, world, and where you came from, the history a little bit.
Wow, that's a deep and very long story. Where do I start?
At the beginning.
All right. Well, originally, as a kid, my mom, she was actually a DJ for Yale University. So she had like a DJ bone in her, and she was always like putting together mixtapes in her little studio that she had, and she started passing down some of that equipment. I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, all right, well, I'll tinker around with this little turntable and this reel-to-reel player. I'll start to mess around, scratching on the reel-to-reel table. But what really inspired me, like I was saying, was going over to my buddy Randy. He was like my best friend. His brother, Justin. I'll never forget, these names you remember when you were a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Randy and Justin. And whatever Justin, Justin had like this old bucket. It was like I think it was a Datsun. It was a Datsun. The old bucket Datsun, orange, that off-color orange. And he would just, his sound system was crazy loud, and that's all he would listen to. It was all Magic Mike. Every single tape, either Magic Mike or Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah,
one of those.
That
two.
Sounds right.
One of those two. Now, that's not my entire music history, but honestly, that was the defining moment that I was like, I want to really do this. Like, I really want to do this. Listening to that man, DJ Magic Mike scratch, the quickness and how precise he was back then, with the technology not even being what it is now, really inspired me, But spinning forward, young kid growing up in a weird town called Hillsboro, Oregon, right outside of Portland. We moved to Las Vegas, to a whole nother demographic of people, and that shit was wild. That was definitely wild. Excuse my French, but it was definitely wild. But I was able to, because of that whole situation, I was able to dive into nightclubs at an early age. Like, I was already in nightclubs by the time I was like 19 with a fake ID, working in nightclubs, working some of the biggest nightclubs that there was back in those times.
That's young, bro. That's good.
Just a quick thing too. The intro today, the intro I currently have and I'm using, that was sent to me by DJ IQ right here, just so you guys know. He's the one who put that together. So
nice.
I just want to let people know it's written on the page, but I wanted people to hear it come out of my mouth too. That, hey, this is something put together by you, Mr. DJ
my guy.
IQ.
Thank you.
And, his information's also in that intro. So rewind it, watch it. You can pull up his Twitch info and booking info if you guys need a DJ for booking. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to put
that was the best interruption you could ever do. Thank you. I appreciate the shout out.
Hey, man, we keep each other out here, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, like my life DJ story is a whole nother topic. We could really dive into that some other time. I just want to talk more about the event and how it really, really brought me home. It gave me a good feeling. I really dug the unity and like you were saying, it was a very positive event. People were in a good mood. People were smiling. Kids were having fun. Parents were having a good time. There wasn't a lot of confusion because I know all about that doing events for over 22 years. Like sometimes you run into these special events and nobody knows what's going on. It's just complete chaos. You would think this is their very first event, every event. Dang.
I mean, Josh can attest. It doesn't matter what venue we're at. I can usually find a way to make it flow. I can make bad situations in a good way. Once again, I've been doing this now since 2000. And so I can see what needs to happen when I arrive at a venue and try and get people organized. We were a little disorganized at the beginning, made an announcement on the microphone, straightened everybody out. All of a sudden, cars were just rolling through the lanes.
So it's that's why we call you the judge.
That's Doug.
Right. The judge.
I like that name.
Hey, I just also want to let you guys know, just a quick thing real quick. This podcast I'm doing, or whatever you want to call it, blog, whatever, I'm going to do this every Monday at 6 p.m. Just so that people that are watching know and understand. So we're going to do it every Monday at 6 p.m. I'm going to get better at this. This is only the second one I've ran. But we're going to discuss the event that happened the weekend before. And then in general, what our next event the week before, so the coming up weekend, I will have whoever's sponsoring that event come on here and speak about their venue and whatnot. But since we don't have an event coming up this week, I thought I would take some extra time, talk to Stefan here and Josh, but just a heads up, next week there are no events or anything. And because of that, I will bring on a special guest. I don't know who it is right now. It may be Gary Killian, just because Gary's an awesome dude. And if you guys have ever seen one with Gary, all kinds of love for the guy. And you cannot meet the guy without falling in love with him. So just wanted to put that out there so everybody understands. And also, I can't see any comments unless they're on my Sonic FX page. So you don't have to join it. I believe you have to join it to post on my page, but you can see all of my content. All my shows are broadcast live on that page. So, come on, Sonic FX. DJ IQ, he's actually going to help me set up some Twitch, I guess. So not yet, but we're going to get to a point where we're broadcasting on Twitch because I can do the events on Twitch. I can do these on Twitch. But these are just little things we got going on and moving forward. I got a great team behind me. I got DJ IQ to help me out here. I got Celise Harris to help me do some graphics. Another guy I got here is Rodolfo Fernandez. That guy, he knows his stuff about all this. This Frozen issue. I'm going to get with him afterwards, and we're going to see what's going on with that. I'm going to hopefully get that corrected.
You'll have to have us back on when it's not frozen, Doug.
Huh?
I said you'll have to invite us back on when it's not frozen.
Yeah. And ultimately what I'm going to do with this thing is I'm going to take it and turn it into an RSS, and then I'll make it available for downloading to listen to only.
I think that's super, super cool, man, because there's a lot of us, and I don't always have the time, but when you tag me or I'm tagged on one of these videos that you're doing, I normally take the time, being a bass head or the car enthusiasts or DJs, they're going to take the time to sit and watch it. It's like there's a lot of times Stefan will tag me in something. I may not be able to see that one, but when I have the time, I'll jump in there and see what's up. You know what I mean?
Yep,
and
right.
Technology is wonderful, dude. And having these connections with these people that you're talking about, I totally feel like you're going to build on it. You know, there's so much knowledge that's shared in these little rooms or these chats, these videos, podcasts, whatever you're doing. There's so much knowledge that you can get just by sitting and listening to a couple guys talk. You know, that'll keep you from spending thousands of dollars or keep you from trying to do something, make some mistake that we've already made, man. You know, so let me tell you, like, I probably blew up $6,000 in equipment this weekend in Smash. I mean, you know, it's good to have these feeds. I mean, I'm on point. We're going to be, as a matter of fact, we was talking about DJIQ having a demo. As soon as I'm done, the first thing I'm going to do is go pick up DJIQ and we're going to go do a demo and Smash. And I promise you, it's going to sound good. It's going to feel good. That's what we do, you know, but as far as like having this kind of situation go on, man, let me save you the heartache, dude. Get with people who know what they're doing. Listen to when people are talking, you know, it's really good to have these kind of shows that you're doing, Doug, because I don't know how many times I've heard Lucky or you or the conversations you have with people that you invite on here, and it kept me from making that mistake or, you know, inspired me to do the next right thing on my build, on my truck. You know what I mean? So it's not easy what we do. You know, it's not easy what we do. You've got to be committed. You know, it's not easy to be a DJ. You've got to be committed.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, I can DJ. I got an iPod and you push play.
That's about right.
Right? I got some RGB lights we can put on sequence for you.
There you go. See? It's easy. Anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
I can hook up a sound system.
Yeah. So what I really need to do is we need to get IQ there into Ray Maes's truck. Get a little wake up.
Oh yeah.
You know, demo at 160 plus.
Ray was there. Ray was there. Yep. Ray was at the show. He came all the way from California, and he's a vet, man. He's been in this for a long time. I sat and talked with him for a minute, and there was some heavy hitters that came all the way to California and drove 5 hours. You know, I was talking with one of them this morning on the phone, you know, just about my own personal build and my lessons I'm learning. And, you know, he drove 5 hours to be down here, and we're going to make that up to him in these next shows that we have out here in Reno. I can promise you that. So...
Yeah. You know what I was thinking? I thought it would be kind of a crazy idea. You may or may not want to do it, but it would be crazy to test out these sound systems and see if they can handle what I'm putting down. Like they don't get, like, what if they don't get a choice to pick their song?
Okay. So, so I understand that. So you didn't see the full show.
Right.
We have a format where they try and play as low as they can, as loud as they can. So they come in with a 20 hertz note, and they're hitting mid 150s with that 20 hertz note. That format specifically requires them to use a group of songs that are on our CD already.
Very
that's
specific.
Just part of the formatting. So that's the boom check. Okay.
Got it.
So we used to do a thing. I don't think Josh has ever seen it, but we have this little thing called a death match. So where you play for 3 minutes straight, as loud as you can, and whoever has the loudest number at the end wins. So you might blow all your crap up. Our systems aren't designed to play for 3 minutes straight at those extreme of volumes, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like top fuel race cars, drag racers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Done. They're meant to run for whatever time we're in the lanes. Now the Cyclone is a 60-second music class, and dude, I open up those cars and they always stink. I mean, woofers just freaking smoke rolling.
Yep.
every time. So
That sounds like fun.
So that's what I was trying to tell you when we were collaborating about what we were talking about. We'll bring it up someday. I'm not going to say nothing here and now. We got some things in the works, DJ IQ and I. But
all right.
one of the things that I was talking about is we got to be real careful how we use our systems together, because we're not, like Doug said, it's like a car that comes out of out of a warehouse that's built, to drive on the road daily versus a dragster,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a certain way to be set up, and you and I have had that conversation, and we are going to collaborate on that more, and you are going to have something to show for it. That's for sure.
Cool. So do you think we're going to see you at more of these events as they come up in Reno, Stefan?
Well, if you guys are involved, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys are involved, yes.
I will tell you, Scythe Morrison, I mentioned him to you prior. Scythe Morrison is a local rapper out here in Stockton, and he has been successful at these events selling his merch. So USB sticks. If you have a good song that they can play in their vehicles and demo, talk to Josh. I'm sure Josh can get you connected with a handful of guys that just love to demo. Guys
yes,
like,
sir.
What's his name? Anthony Caps, right?
Anthony Caps. Grandpa.
Yeah, those guys, they love to support people that love what they do. So if you are making something that fits what they want to do, show off their system, they're going to support you. And
yo, you really just inspired me right now, because you gave me an idea.
Okay.
Being in this, we'll talk about it. Okay. We'll talk about it. He gave me another idea. I'm an idea guy. You'll learn that about me, and I'm just really good at that.
Well, there's a lot of opportunity for a DJ like you. As far as our bass community, it's really been DJ Mike and Magic Mike. And so to have you around, he's a busy man, and he puts down good tracks, and he does some stuff just for us bass heads, right? But, it'd be nice to have another guy who could collaborate on that and provide some of these materials, notes, hertz, sounds, beats to put into our vehicles. And there's a way to grow with that. So there's plenty of opportunity into it. It's just about picking one that's going to work and making a move on it,
Let's bring the bass back, man. Let's bring the bass back.
Yeah.
We love it. It's our generation, but let's get these younger cats, because that's what I do. I bridge the gap. That's what my job is. I bridge the gap. Let's get these younger cats and let them see what this is all about, and understand why guys like me and guys like you, both of you guys and everybody who's listening, why we fell in love with this art.
Yep.
So my son, Jackson, saw Lucky's truck, the piggy bank, the first time. And the first time he really saw that truck, we were out at Surf City. And it was an awesome show, man. It was the first time that I felt like I was really becoming a part of everything with car audio. And he gets in we have this beautiful place on the ocean out at Surf. We rented for a week, just like a whole house with 3 bedrooms. My wife was chilling the whole time. And anyhow, we get back one night, and he looks at me and he says, I want 318s like Lucky. That's what I want in my first car. I didn't ask him. I didn't promote it. I didn't, I'm just bringing him to the events with me. And next thing you know, he got this 8-year-old. I'm going to have 318s just like Lucky's piggy bank. And I'm going, wow. So we are an influence. And these kids are looking for direction, And man, you get in a system and get a good demo or a sound and get into sound quality, it can change you from a depressive state of mind to something that's more optimistic. There's many reasons we do bass, man. There's a lot of people in the bass community walking around. They have depression, they have PTSD, they have anxiety, they have, alcohol or drug problems. And then you got some of us veterans that have been around and have dealt with a lot of these things in our life. And we're here to show you how we can do both. We can live the good life and we can enjoy what we do at the same time, and that's what these little kids are after. So you talk about bridging the gap, and that's exactly what you're doing, and I seen it when you were there playing. I saw every kid there was in front. Every younger kid there was sitting there next to your thing, listening to you DJ. While we were competing. So you definitely bring a lot to it for us,
Well, thank you. It's an honor.
And Josh, I mean, you guys both may not know this, but my intention 100% of these shows is I want to bring families to the events. I have no problem with a guy like Brian Nyman, very nice guy. I mean, I've known Nyman a long time, right? He's been competing. He hosts great events at his location. All that stuff, way cool. He is not my target audience. My target audience is somebody with a family. I want you to bring your kids, Josh. I want Stefan to bring his kids. I want Lucky to bring his kids. I want them, their wives. I want them all at the show because I want to have a place. As you see, I don't cuss on the microphone, right? You don't hear me?
No, you don't.
And
you don't.
I want to make a family-friendly environment. I actually turned down certain car shows because of what they have going on. So they had some lowrider type car shows, and they would have the t-shirt contests and stuff like that. And I would turn some of those down because that was not the event I want to do. Now, there's other promoters out there that would love to do those events, and please go do it. And absolutely, I know guys love those events. Absolutely. And I'm not even saying
where are those at?
Huh?
Where are they at? I'm just kidding. Go on.
I want you to go to those events too. I will never downplay somebody else's event. But for me, that's not the right event.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Family friendly is, where I'm at. I'm out of them stages, babe. I just don't, it's not me.
And I would love to see, which I started to get some of the guys from Fresno, and they brought their kids, like 5 years old, 4 years old, with their Power Wheels. So you haven't even seen that yet. I don't think either one of you have seen the Power Wheels, have you?
I have. At one show, there was, as a matter of, was it surf? I can't remember. There was a show that they had the Power Wheel. It actually had a sound system in it.
Yeah,
so
they have a Power Wheel.
I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that for sure. And I want to talk about something else that triggered another idea. Jesus, let's go. Let's go.
So we have Power Wheels class. And ultimately, I would love to see you guys bring your kids. There is an age limit on the Power Wheels because the intent of it is to bring kids involved. The kids roll up. They run their own stereos. Dude, it is awesome. We had, I believe, second place in the 2019 World Finals, a guy out of Bakersfield. It was Kyle's son. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but Kyle, with one of the clubs down south, dude, his son came up, and, dude, it was awesome. The crowd loved it. This little 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid rolls up. He's got his headphones on, comes up there, pulls up, sets up his whole podium set up. Looks, I'm all, you ready to go? He's like, I'm totally scared. The whole crowd, I'm just all the way around him. Oh, dude, it was a great feeling. I got plenty of video of it on my Sonic Effects YouTube page. But, dude, the Power Wheels class, I would love to see that grow because that shows me family involvement, right? Your kids,
and doing what we do is going to live on.
Do it, right?
Yeah.
Ricky, he's out of Fresno. Ricky Garcia, I believe. He goes by Ricky. His dad's name's Rick. Well, Rick started competing with me back in 2001. Dude, his son's 21 years old, and his son was coming to the shows back then. His son was still in a car seat. Now he's coming to the shows, and I believe he hit a 162 That's the
Wow.
last show at Niven Shop.
Wow.
I mean, he's come with a hardcore bill. Right?
Yeah, that's 160s period, or
yeah. And, I mean, we're talking that makes it generational, right? And that is something that car audio can do. You can share it. Team DB Life, Isaiah. That is him and his dad, right? And his uncle. But dude, it's a generational thing. They come together, they love it together, they compete, they come as a team. Stuff like that. That gets me excited.
So, Doug.
Yes, sir.
There was a lot of behind the scenes things happening with this last show. As far as there's some names I want to mention. And say thank you to some guys real quick. I don't know if they're watching, but Cody Black, Tom Selleck, Shane Merritt. I'd like to thank Palomino's Audio, or Palomino's Rims and Tires, Chris McDougall, Angel, who owns Palomino's Auto and Rims and Tires. Obviously, DJ IQ, Rusty Flowers, Justin Hinkie, with the DC family. Brian Weiss, man, you are clutch, bro. We love you. I love that kid, man. He pulled some big strings for me the day before the show. I won't even mention it. You just got to come out to these shows and see these people. Jake Vanderblumen, one of my most cherished excuse my language, one of my most cherished installers. Reno Auto Sound for letting us cruise down there after the show. Reno Auto Sound let us cruise over there and demo.
Yep.
So Emilio from California, and Rosie. Yeah, Emiliano. He came down with the bass knob for one of the bass heads here because we couldn't get one here. I mean, there was so many behind the scene things that were happening. People from Sky Audio, people even at Audio Express. I mean, there was so many the behind the scenes things happening that people didn't see. All the small details to kind of bring this thing in. Jacob Duck Mob's Mustang was at the show. A month prior to that, Jacob had passed away, and he was young. You may remember the red Mustang, Doug.
I don't.
So the red Mustang was there, and they were gonna part it out after he died and sell it. Well, Shane Merritt bought the Mustang and brought it to the show, and we were here testing and tuning it the night before, and we got it playing beautifully, man. You could sit in that Mustang and get a hell of a demo. So we were tuning that in the driveway up at my house. We had another guy, I can't remember his name, showed up, and Cody Black installed this whole system. We all put in a little bit of work on it. I did the box and the sub, and we did his whole system. He showed up at the show. So there's a lot of behind the scenes things happening. There's a lot of things happening before these shows come together. And that's why you feel that energy, that positivity. I mean, we're ramping ourselves up. We're putting our hearts into these things, I couldn't tell you how many times Stefan and I talked over the last 2 weeks. We talked more over the last 2 weeks than we have in the 6, 7, 8 years that we've known each other. I've always known he's my brother, but in the last 2 weeks, I think we probably talked 10, 15 times.
Easy, if not more.
Just want to say thank you to everybody who put their heart and time into all these things, and I know there's people's names that I'm missing. I could never remember you all. And I'll lay in bed thinking about you like, oh, I forgot to mention this or that, And so everybody who came from California, all the heavy hitters, the veterans. So I just want to put that out there.
One quick thing. Tiffany Paris, it's her and her husband. They own SQ Sounds. I met them through Lucky. Lucky had them as a sponsor. He had them on his truck. They also sponsored his live feed. Anyway, so Tiffany Paris, she said, send some mixes to Barbados. We play Sife's music all the time here when we are showing off our systems. So I don't know if you're interested in being international.
That's big. That's big, bro.
So
Tiffany, Yeah, that's big.
If you're interested in being international, meet up.
Yeah.
So is there a way she can hit you up about this stuff, like a web page or anything like that, or how
You talking to me?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. You can actually hit me up on queuedupent.com. That's QUEDUPENT.com.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that would probably be the best way. Or you can also reach me at DJIQ at queuedupentertainment.com. You can kind of spell that out. I'm horrible at spelling, but I get, you guys know how to get in contact with me. We'll make sure that you guys have a way to get in contact with me as soon as possible. But the fastest way to get in contact with me would be the queuedupent.com. That's QUEDUPENT.com.
And remember, it's also at the beginning of this live stream. It's right there on the screen, so you can go back to the beginning of this, pause it, and you can pull it right off the screen if you need to see. All that information's on there because I always going to give I'm going to always give credit to whoever provides whatever. I'm not in this for me. Obviously I get something out of it, but I want to share what I get out of it with everybody else. So that's truly how we do this thing. Team Down to Pound mentioned here a couple of times about some stuff. Awesome. Mellows is the spot. Absolutely.
I love that name, Down to Pound.
Huh? You're not familiar with them. So they're a team out of Bakersfield, Fresno area. Team Down, and they're the ones that had the little kid with the Power Wheels.
Power Wheel. Of course they are. Of course they are.
So,
yeah.
No, that's actually a really good team of guys. And they're very far south. I mean, they're 4 hours south of me, and then for them to come to Reno would have been about an 8 to 9 hour drive, right? So they're not going to make that often, but they did. I will say they did come up. We had a memorial the weekend before for a guy who used to repair amps. So another part of the Basehead community. We had a event for him. We raised $1,700, I think, roughly, for his family to help with some burial costs and whatnot. So we did an awesome event. They drove all up here. I mean, they were thick up here. But anyway, we're running right at an hour right now. Do you have anybody, Stefan, that you would like to thank? Or promote anything? I mean, we've got your website now, but anything else you'd like to promote, like your live streams, your Twitches?
Sure, yeah. As a matter of fact, this has been my baby lately. It's been my Twitch channel. I love Twitch. I think it's one of the best things that's happened to this community or really this world during the pandemic because it's bringing us back to communicating with each other like normal people and people actually giving and having a good time and being able to enjoy music without being cut off. No offense, Facebook, but we got to get that stuff together. That's the most amazing thing. And with this Twitch platform, like people really, really like showing love. And I haven't seen that in so long. That's why I enjoy it. So, we'll just jump to the actual channel. My Twitch channel is twitch.tv/queuedupent, just like my website, queuedupent.com. It's twitch.tv/QUEDUPENT.
That's pretty good.
All right.
I guess I better get with that Twitch because I don't mess with it, huh?
You need to be on it. It's amazing, like how good it makes people get stuck on that thing. I would rather people be stuck communicating with people, actually communicating with people, than watching people's thoughts and opinions. Like that's played out. That's not healthy for us.
Yeah, it can be unhealthy. You're right.
Hey,
Very
we
unhealthy.
finally got unfrozen. I'm seeing on our Facebook feed. That's awesome.
Nice. It's about time.
Well, we got to start over then.
So anyway, I really want to thank Josh. Dude, awesome job. I really, really, really appreciate that you supplied some food for the guys. If you put it out there, I'm just saying, and you bring hamburgers, somebody else will bring hamburger buns, you just throw that out there in the world, and I promise you, everybody's going to be part of it. It's going to be, you're going to love what it does for us. I always tell people, me interacting with you guys is one thing, talking to you, being with you. But when you sit down and break bread with another brother, it's a different situation. You get a different respect for that person. You get a different handle on who that person is. They get you in a different way. It changes life. There's a reason. I mean, this isn't meant to be religious, but there's a reason that in the Bible, they tell you to break bread with your brothers.
Yeah.
So
I completely believe in that too. And I'll tell you, we got some big things in the works.
I hear that.
We do have some big things in the works. And I want to also welcome or send a shout out to Battleborn Baseheads, Steve Wendell and Mark Antonio. Big deal out here in Reno, collaborating with them too. So they kind of bring a lot of that in for us as well, So don't forget them Battleborn Baseheads out there, man, because they really have some. They have experience in this area on locations and how not to piss people off. So they do it all the time out here, man. So we're gonna start recognizing that with them. It's important that we know what we can and can't do. But we got some big things in the works, man. Really, honestly, there's so many things going on behind the scenes to get guys together and have some big events out here. It's it's unquestionable. I can't walk away from it and not have my part in it to break bread with another brother, if you know what I'm saying. So,
one more thing. So anything you guys want to just, any kind of quick ads? I know you put a shout out, IQ, Stefan, you put a shout out to your stuff. Josh, do you have anything you need to add? I mean, I know Smash is coming along. You were hoping to debut it. It didn't happen. Do you have a time frame for it?
I was wondering if it was going to come up. I've been kind of quiet about it. I went through some catastrophic failure on my part. And, the DC family out here, Rusty Flowers, Justin Hinkie, all you DC brothers, Team DC Elite. I couldn't put into words my gratitude for that family. And if there was a shout out to